In DFS 2013 R2, the tool axis direction of round and side groove features can be easily reversed. This eliminates a tedious and sometimes difficult workaround. A word about this demo before we get started is it does have a special tool in it, and if you want to be able to try this out yourself, just go into the browser, open up this folder, and you'll find an XML. It's one tool. Import this XML with this, from this path into your tools crib, and you'll be able to run this demo. Alright, this part is partially machined with two setups. All we need to do now is the round features and the side groove that you can see down here underneath. Okay, so the first round feature is up on top, a new feature, round, okay. The boundary, I've pre-created some sketches here. Remember, you can't use edges, so you have to use a sketch. The radius, I'll get right off the model. And the machining direction is correct, the yellow arrow, but my machining side is not. And I'll flip that. Okay, simple enough. Now let's look at the back side. Go over to side 2. Another round feature, the second sketch. The radius is that face right there. Immediately you can see a problem with the machining direction, the cut direction. It's coming from the wrong direction. You can see the radius is actually inverted, it's upside down. It's cutting the wrong side too, so I'll flip the machining side. In the past, I would just hit OK, and I'm not going to bother to simulate. You know it's going to happen. It's going to bring a tool from the wrong side, wipe out my part. You can even see that round 2 is up in setup 1 because it's oriented to setup 1. Alright, I'll fix this now. Just click on this, go to the feature. The reason this is upside down is that because we're using a sketch, this feature depends on the normal of the sketch plane to determine the tool axis direction. If that's upside down, your feature's upside down. So the way we'd fix this in the past is pick a different sketch plane, and sometimes that involved creating more planes, and then maybe inverting one of them, and it was painful. Sometimes you'd have to create an axis in order to invert the plane, and it was really painful. Now it's simply a button, and this will reverse the cut direction just like that, and hit OK. Now one thing you'll notice is that round 2 is still in setup 1, and you've probably seen this with DFS in the past, is sometimes you create features and they don't automatically go to the proper setup even though they're oriented correctly. All you need to do in this case is just right click anywhere in your tree and tell it to arrange features, and it will sort out all the problems and say, okay, round 2 belongs in setup 2. I'll just drag it down to the proper place. Okay, easy enough. Let's take a look at a side groove. New feature, groove. Okay, when you use that same sketch, and we already know that the the sketch normals are backward for us. We see the yellow arrow. We'll just flip the feature direction, just like that. Looks like we need to flip the cutting side as well. 5 by 5 is correct. Let's put the top of that groove down here on this edge. Of course, that puts it at the center of the groove, but I have a minus 2.5 millimeter offset to get that groove located properly. Okay, so there's groove 1 down here. I'm going to run to the op list, get that tool that I imported. So I'm going to click and go select a tool. Got the side mills here. They pick by default. I don't want to use big side mill. I don't have room for that arbor or that nut or whatever's underneath that slitting saw. It's going to hit my part. So I want to use a fairly small, this 5 millimeter, if I can find it, key seat right there. And clearly you can see why, we couldn't have just lived with that feature being upside down and say, well, I'll cut it from the other side. It's kind of silly to do it that way. So this way I was able to easily correct that. Let me put a breakpoint right there. And there's my key seat cutter. It can come down and safely cut that feature.